back to the Graceful Tangle YouTube channel. I'm Amy Kate. Thank you so much for joining me today. This video is going to be a little unique. It's just going to be a short conversation about commissions, how I charge for commissions, if I enjoy them, just kind of my thoughts behind the whole idea. So I encourage you to grab a beverage like I have, and we're just gonna sit and chat for a few minutes. So I'm gonna preface this entire video. These are my personal opinions. This is how I handle commissions if I'm asked to make something. This is how I charge if I if somebody wants something and I'm gonna be that person to make it, whatever the case may be. But these are just my own thoughts, so it might not be exactly what you agree with, and that's totally okay. But I've gotten a lot of questions on just how I handle commissions to begin with, and so I thought it'd be simple to or simplest to create this video of just my thoughts. So I will talk through them all in this video over the next few minutes, but I'm also going to put like just a basic outline of like my thoughts and how I charge and all that stuff in the description box below if you want to just kind of read over that quickly as well. So first off, I do not do many commissions. I started my business by making things that I sold, and I just wasn't very successful. I live in the South. I live in Alabama in the States, and so it is quite warm here often, and so knitting and crochet are not popular arts or hobbies to take up to begin with, but definitely not year-round. And so for that purpose, selling locally things that I have made is not something that I do. I've done a few craft fairs here and there, but just have never really gotten a huge amount of success with that. So in 2020, I kind of rebranded everything and switched to designing, which is what I primarily do now. But that being said, I have done quite a few commissions, just making things for other people for the purpose of getting paid over the years. And then specifically this fall, I've done quite a few, more than I typically would. And so I've kind of shared those projects here and there and just gotten a lot of questions on how I handle like that entire topic. And so that's what this video is going to be about. So the rates that I have kind of come up with for myself, and again, this is what works with me, this is what I feel comfortable charging. I charge the individual who is asking for me to make them something the entire cost of the supplies. So say I was making them a sweater, and I needed 8 skeins of yarn that was like $3 each or something along those lines. Obviously that is pretty cheap. That's not very practical, but for the sake of this video, so I need 8 balls of a $3 yarn to make this sweater for this person. So 8 times 3 is 24. So that's $24 in supplies. I would also include any shipping costs, like if I have to have the yarn shipped, basically because that's not something that I would be spending for myself if I was not ordering this yarn for this person. And so it makes sense for them to cover all of the costs associated with that, again, in my opinion. And then I charge myself $12 an hour for the time that it takes to make the garment. And so if it was going to take me 8 hours to make this garment, then that would be 12 times 8, which is 96. So we're looking at 96 plus a 27 cost for materials, so about $120 commission, give or take. And that's how I charge. That's what I charged this year. That is what I started charging this year. I have a job outside of the home now, so I have kind of, set myself the bar in terms of what I'm going to get paid per hour. I'm not going to get paid less by this for an hour because I could do that. Like I could make more working outside of the home. And so you got to kind of weigh that cost and benefit analysis, if you will. But yeah, that is what I charge. Like I said, I don't do a ton of commissions. It's not something that I will happily do it, but it's not something I'm going to advertise because that's not the heart of my business and the heart of my passion. The that's designing. And so that's what I like to spend my time doing. Also, just in particular, the fall and the winter seasons are when the most commissions take place, but it's also when everything else is chaotic in life. You know, with the holiday season, I make a lot of gifts for those closest to me, and so that takes a lot of time. And then it's also the busiest time of year, work-wise and design-wise. I mean, it's cold, so people are knitting and crocheting more, and so I have just learned to kind of weigh all of that in. And if it's not worth it to me to make this commission, then I don't agree to it. So that is what I charge money wise. Like I said, you may think that that is way too low or way too high, and that is totally okay. It's just what I have chosen to charge. I know from experience that it is hard to spend a lot of money on one in particular thing. And so I've just kind of had to, one, just like establish my worth as a maker. Like, my time is valuable, your time is valuable, so charge accordingly. And, you know, set yourself up for success, set yourself up to people to come back to you, let it be a good experience all around. But know your worth. And so if commissions aren't for you, then that is totally okay. And is not something to feel any shame about. Also, be confident in whatever you're charging and stick to it. Like I said, that is hard. I do not enjoy, you know, talking about money or finances with other people, just because it's weird to talk about. I feel like I just don't, it's not something I enjoy. But at the same time, it's important to be upfront with it. Like, be upfront with, okay, this is what I charge, so this is the cost. And if you can't do that, that is totally okay. We don't have to go through with the commission, but just make sure all of that is known ahead of time. Another thing I would also recommend is let them know like how long it's going to take to be made. So for me, I like, if somebody wants me to make them something, I will say, okay, well then the yarn for that will be about this much, and then my assumption is that it's going to take me about this long to make. So that is not, like, let it be known that that's not concrete. You know, maybe you can't get that yarn as cheap as you want or thought you could. Maybe it is a more complicated pattern than you originally anticipated, and it's going to take you longer. That's totally fine. Make sure those numbers aren't concrete, but also stick to them. And so if something takes 15 hours and you thought it was going to take 12, charge for 15 and explain why. But then, like, right on the same note of that, work diligently. So if I'm making something that I've said is going to take me 12 hours, or like kind of estimated that's going to take me 12 hours to make, I'm going to try to stick to that as close as I can, so that it can be an honest assumption. You know, I'm not going to say something is going to take me 12 and then it takes me 20 and I charge for that, you know, because that's a huge difference. But yeah, that's what I do. So I think that's about it. I mean, that's kind of my thoughts on commissions. It's a big topic, and I know that, but like I said, I've gotten so many questions about it, and so I just thought it would be simplest for me to make a video in and of itself. If you have any thoughts that you would love to add, or any other questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You can leave a comment down below, or send an email to thegracefultangle@gmail.com, which is also listed down in the description box, as well as kind of the basics on what I mentioned today. But that's how I handle commissions. That's just the rates that I have come up with myself over years of being asked to make things and doing it, and sometimes it being, you know, volunteer or paying more than enough. Both are going in their place, but it's also really important to have those boundaries set and to have those goals set, and that rate established, so that you can easily just talk to people about it and say, okay, this is what it's going to be this is what it's going to cost. And then, like, the last thing I would add is don't take offense if somebody says no. You know, if you have like, I had a conversation with somebody earlier this year on like this project that we were thinking I would be making for them, and I was talking about, you know, costs and yarns and all of that stuff, and then we got to the end of the conversation, and she was just like, I'm not sure I can do that this season, and that is totally okay. We don't know other people's situations, and so we don't have to. So don't take offense if something is going to be too high of a cost. Still stick to what you know your worth is, and then be confident that maybe the next one will work out. But I hope that was helpful for you. A little bit of a different video for sure, but like I said, I've gotten a lot of questions, and so I wanted to kind of try to address them all at once. But thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This is a little bit of an abnormal video, but I would love to have you around for a bi-weekly podcast and tutorials and hauls and reviews on certain products and everything in between. I would love to have you in this community. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again next time. Bye.